Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole and today I am going to be talking about what I have been reading in the last week or so. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to be talking about the books that I was reading during my last reading vlog. So let's go ahead and get into it. I finished both books, so this week I just have two books to talk about, both of which I finished. The first book that I finished is The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks, and oh my, was this a trip. So let me start by telling you what The Wasp Factory is about. The Wasp Factory is about a young man named Frank, who is 16 at the beginning of this book. In fact, he's 16 throughout the whole book. And it takes place over a very short period of time, maybe the course of like a week. And basically, Frank is a young man, a very interesting character, shall we say, who is just trying to live his day-to-day life in his little small village in Scotland or town. He lives on a small island that's just off the coast. I mean, very small and like a small walking bridge kind of just off the coast sort of situation. And the setting's very oddly described, so if it sounds like I don't actually know where he lives, I feel like I don't actually know where he lives. And Frank lives alone with his father on this island. They used to live there with his brother Eric, but Eric was mentally unstable and was institutionalized, but has recently escaped. That's not a spoiler. It's something that you were told in the very first sentence of the book. And so Frank now finds himself in the situation where he is dealing with his emotions and feelings about and basically all his thoughts regarding the return of his brother, because his brother basically tells him he's coming back home. We don't know what Eric is coming back home to do, but it seems like it's probably not a good situation. Frank, meanwhile, is our first person narrator, and he is recounting to us both his feelings and thoughts about what's going on in the present, as well as his past misbehavior, shall we say. One thing I can say about this book is it should have a ton of content warnings. This was a horrible read in so many ways. It was a horror book, and I think it's in that genre, or at least subgenre, because horrible things happen to people and animals in this book almost constantly, and Frank tells you about it all. So much so to the point that you start to wonder who really needs to be seen by doctors for their mental health. Spoiler, I think it's everyone in the family. There is a lot that goes on in this book. I didn't particularly like it, and let me talk about my highs and lows. The low point for me in this book really had to do, I guess, with the plot. Not so much the structure of the book. The book goes back and forth between present day and the past, and that was fine. But at the end of the day, I found myself just saying, so what about this book? There were a lot of really bad, negative things that happened to Frank, to Eric, to the father, to the whole family, to the people that Frank kills, because, yeah, that happens, to the animals. And I just couldn't help by the end of the book feeling like, why? Why was this happening? Why did it happen? And there is an explanation at the end, but I wasn't buying it. I felt like Ian Banks really tried to sell you at the very end in a very tight, quick way an excuse for why this was all happening. And I just felt like it was bad 80s, 90s psychology. I just didn't find it, the sort of reveal or explanation at the end, to be satisfying. It left me feeling like, yeah, that's what you say, but you've already sort of set yourself up as an unreliable narrator or something. So I'm just not buying it. And even if I did, I don't feel like that would have made anything okay. So at the end of the day, I felt like, why am I reading about this? Why would I care? Why would I want to read all these horrible things? And honestly, I can't give you a reason why you would want to. And I find that to be problematic with the book. I personally read and finished this book because it was part of a book club. I am looking forward to that meeting, and I hope I'm not out of town when they meet because I want to know what other people have to say about this. I honestly don't know what to say about this. There was sort of some symbolism and some purpose and meaning that was also supposed to be drawn out of, the title of the book. And I just also felt like that was cheesy and corny at best. Yeah, so maybe I was going to say my high for the book was I thought the writing style was done well and okay. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's not because some of my problems with the book have to do with the way the ending of it was written. So I gave this book a two. I didn't hate it. It's not something I'd be like, don't read, ever, avoid, burn, da da da. Very few books are for me, but I did not like it. It's not one that I would be quick to recommend to anyone. Read it if you want to. Even the blurbs on the back of the book I discuss are not all favorable, which I've never seen in blurbs, but I don't read blurbs all the time, so maybe that does happen. Anyway, the Wasp Factory, it was a two for me. I didn't like it. Would I recommend that book to anybody? I mean, I guess if you just want to read about people and animals being harmed, you could. I have to admit, I disliked the book enough that it's making me question whether I would want to read more books like that. It's certainly turning me off of the horror genre, but it's also turning me off of like some of those character studies where the person being studied is sort of a sociopath or a psychopath. Like that book also made me not interested in reading much more of those, and I'm certainly not interested in reading more of Ian Banks. Let me know if I should reconsider any or all of the above. I don't know if I will, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. And then let me know if you've read that book and what you thought about it. The next book I fortunately had much better luck with, and that was Jennifer Government by Max Berry. This was a really fun, really interesting, I guess, thriller. I'd call it a thriller dystopian novel. This book is about a multitude of characters, but you start with Hack Nike, and you are in a world that definitely has some 1984 feelings, but if instead of going completely authoritarian, you went completely capitalist and supposedly democratic. This is such a fascinating book in a world where taxation has ceased and everything has been privatized, and you are just, just need to go to the right company to get the right thing that you want. And everybody in this world, their last names are the names of whatever company they work for. So Jennifer, for example, works for the government. Hack Nike, well, you can put the two and two together. And yeah, it covers all the things that can and will go wrong, I guess, if everything is privatized and the bottom line is the most important thing. So Hack's story begins where he's a somewhat dissatisfied, basically overglorified salesperson. He works in, I think, distribution, and he is suddenly given an opportunity to be promoted to marketing, which he's not exactly thrilled about. And the rest of the book probably demonstrates why he shouldn't be. But basically, he gets signs a contract unread and unkept. And the consequences that follow are steep, to say the least. But this book is told with a lot of sort of tongue-in-cheek humor. There are definitely some sort of ridiculous things going on. It reminds me a lot of John Scalzi's writing. So I read the Kaiju, I can never remember it, Society, something like that. I'll put the book up on the screen again. But this book definitely reminds me of that book, and more just the writing style and the tone. So if you like his writing, I thought this was a really good book, and thought, in fact, I thought this was a better book than the Kaiju Society. I thought it was more satisfying and complete, but you definitely have to be into the sense of humor that is used here. It is not a completely serious book. This is not like the capitalist version of 1984 in terms of sad and depressing. So if you would like to think about like what could happen if capitalism goes extreme and really wrong, this may or may not be the book for you. I personally gave it 4 stars, almost 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It may have gotten a bit more love from me simply because the book before this was such a loss for me. Anyway, I would say that the only lows in the books is that sometimes I don't feel like it took itself seriously enough. And so you did have occasional moments where events that happened in the book were just flat out ridiculous. But that could be a pro or a con. My highest thing that I have to say about this book, the plot was really strong, the pacing was really good, and it really did make you think while entertaining you at the same time. And I think that has to do with the aspect of it being a bit on the sort of, thriller espionage. well, not really espionage, but definitely on the thriller side of things, as well as being a dystopian novel. So that definitely kept the book moving. I think I read it in basically 24 hours. And it's not a super short book, but it's also not that long. It's 321 pages, but I mean, it just keeps you moving from one thing to the next. You just have to know what's happening, and it's a good time. So if that's something that sounds like might be up your alley, I definitely suggest giving this book a try. And I was super excited because this book has been on my TBR for quite a while, and I finally found it in a bookstore one day. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I am absolutely getting this book, because I thought I was just going to have to buy it online one day. But anyway, glad I finally got to it. No regrets. Super exciting. And as far as future goes in terms of those types of books, I would definitely read another book like that. I, in general, tend to like dystopians, but I especially appreciate a dystopian novel that doesn't take itself or life too seriously, or its writing at all. I would certainly read more by Max Barry, and I would recommend this book, like I said, to anybody who likes dystopian or would just like to consider the sort of potential fatal consequences of extreme capitalism. So that's it. Those are the two books that I read. I'm not going to share what I am currently reading, so that's something you can just stay tuned for. I will be doing another sort of vlog, but I think my next one, I will include the wrap-ups for the books within that vlog, because I realize I have a lot of other things this month that I also want to get out to you and talk about. One of them is my Barnacle Buddy read. This month, I am doing it on October 12th, so the day that this video is posted, I am hosting an all-day reading event for the book The Evil Genius by Wilkie Collins, and I am doing this so that I can get my Victober reading in, and this live read-along will be going on from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can read The Evil Genius with me at your own pace. It'll just be reading sprints, so you could also bring any other book that you would like to read, but if you'd like to join me and you're watching this on October 12th, you might want to click off this video and hop on over to that. Otherwise, you can always watch the recording back if you missed it. Other things that are going on, like I said, this Wednesday, I will probably not post the next part of my Escape the Corn Maze reading vlog. I will probably save that until next Saturday so you can watch it then. But coming up on Wednesdays, you can look forward to my finally posting my video on Huck, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and James. I did a comparative reading of both of those books, and I still have a video planned to come out where I discuss my final thoughts on that. I also will be doing a tier ranking of all my favorite Wilkie Collins books that I have read. And finally, I will hopefully also be getting out my video on how I annotate. I have been asked to do videos in some nature on all three of these things, and I do want to do them as well. So those will probably all be posted sometime this month on a Wednesday. And that's it for today. Let me know how your week of reading went, what you finished or DNF'd or are currently reading. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you think of them, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!